Okay, day 3 of 7 of the Ricoh Daily Street Photography Challenge, and we're going to be doing something different for today because I'm currently on my lunch break, so I'm constrained with just exploring the Wanchai district. Later tonight, we're doing some night street photography around the same area, and I'm introducing a simple constraint. I'm going to be operating on a 1 kilometer radius to show that you don't need to travel very far to find your own photos, and that neighborhood you thought was boring may surprise you, so go out and explore. For the recipe that I'm going to be using today, because basically I'm going to be having 2 different lighting conditions, so I need something a bit more versatile. I'm currently exploring this Cotton Color 400, which runs an auto white balance to give me that flexibility in lighting conditions. So let's just get to it. One reason I decided to go out during lunch break is because I wanted a 7-day challenge to have different lighting conditions, you know, just for variety purposes. If I just went out after work each day, then it's all just going to be night street photography, which might be too boring 7 days in a row. So do subscribe for the commitment. Anyway, that's the main point of the series anyway. Photography shouldn't be constrained to specific times of the day like the golden hour, and you can find photos in different situations, like on your lunch walk or the daily commute, where we tend to be less observant as we're used to seeing the same things over and over again. I really do want to change that about my photography, but then I thought I'm having a very difficult time on this specific walk because I haven't eaten my lunch. For my preferred settings when doing street, I tend to use aperture priority to have control over my depth of field, and pair this up with auto ISO with a minimum shutter speed of about 1/40th of a second. I set it this way because I'm comfortable with the Ricoh's image stabilization that I can get relatively sharp images handheld. I had an abundance in light, so I shot at high aperture of around f8 for most shots to keep most in the frame in focus. Because I'm photographing during the lunchtime, it means I have very harsh lighting right now. So I figured a nice approach should be to find patches of light piercing through the buildings or gaps in the streets. And then if I can find a subject and then I can position them there, it would create a nice high contrast scene with crushed blacks and dark shadows, and it might work out, but currently having a challenging time finding a subject in the right spot. I want to frame up Central Plaza within the street while there's still a clearing. So this might be a nice spot because the stalls are providing those shadows, and then there's like a gap on the roof. So this is a shot that I've taken quite similarly in the past, where I framed up the real estate agent inside this office, just waiting for him to pop out. The lunchtime photo op, I think, was a complete failure. I was giving myself too much pressure and high expectations that I should come away with a lot of decent bangers. Completely failed that, so hopefully this evening I'm going to change that. I just checked from Google Earth that 1 kilometer from Wanchai takes me as far as the harbor front. So let's go out there and check for some compositions and then work our way backwards. I decided not to go to the harbor front because I thought that defeated the purpose of the challenge, because it's a place that I always photograph and it's already a comfort zone. Hong Kong skyline will always be beautiful, but the challenge was to see through the places we normally wouldn't think about when taking photos. This walk made me realize that the constraint of staying within 1 kilometer wasn't the actual challenge. It was forcing myself to find new photographs in the neighborhood that I see every day. I photographed Wanchai a number of times in the past and I've shared those already. So I don't know if you are going to be considering this as cheating for the challenge. But because of the nature of the challenge, I had to be a bit smart in the selection of the districts that I wanted to visit. Because of course I do have to work around my whole lifestyle, you know. I still need to go to work, I still need to eat, I still need to meet some friends and do my daily things. Right now, I'm setting up for a long exposure shot, and as compared to the one from yesterday in North Point, this is a lot easier because it's a main road, and for that, I think I need to expose a lot longer. So currently I'm using 2 seconds. I'm trying to see whether I can take a sharp shot handheld, and stabilization in Ricoh is damn impressive. Yep, I think that's relatively sharp. On the walk around at night, I intentionally underexposed to not blow out the highlights, but I think I went a bit way too low. JPEG straight out of camera photography might just be a good practice of knowing your environment and understanding how to adjust the exposure accordingly. I guess I've been spoiled with raw editing that sometimes I didn't think too much about my exposure, as I was sure I could retrieve details and selectively edit anyway in post-processing. As long as I have the information in my shadows and highlights, my settings were usually an afterthought. So far, I think all the photos I've taken today have been uninspired. So instead of dragging this video out and bore you to death with mediocre shots, I think I'll call it a day and focus my time on more productive things, like editing the videos from the past 2 days. But really, I didn't expect I'll end the video this way, but I guess it's okay to recognize that you won't always feel the best every time, and it's okay to recognize and take breaks when you don't feel that way. So hopefully you still enjoyed coming along with me, and see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.